Alright, let's get to the rest of this.
Cat is. But anyways, my point is, I know my cat is going to meow for food later. I know it as a fact. Now, God looks at me and he says, I know for a fact he's going to do whatever it is I'm going to do. That doesn't mean God's controlling me. It simply means God's a lot smarter than me, just like I'm smarter than my cat. Next, you talked about the golden rule. You didn't call it the golden rule. Basically, do unto others as you would have done unto yourself. You brought out a book and said, hey, kitty. You said that, you distracted me. You brought up the fact that happiness dictates morality, that if I enjoy something, I should be able to do it. Well, that's not exactly right, because if I want to do something that is going to hurt someone else, you can see the conflict. But I understand that's not what you're saying. But here's my point. My point is we all, or most of us, some people are a little cuckoo, but most people have a general idea of what is the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have done to yourself. And that morality, that sense of wanting to do right by others and have done right to you, is a programmed thing into our brains, or part of our nature. So it seems to me that God designed us with a sense of morality. He said we're made in his image in the Bible, and if that's true, that means, one, God is a moral being, and that is why we are moral ourselves. So to say our morality doesn't come from God is ignoring the fact that we are created with morality. Backing up for a second, you said something interesting in your video.
Alright, I'll go ahead and respond to that. And yes, we do appear to have a centrally built system of morality embedded into us. And I don't have the link right now. I'm going to go look for it here after I'm done with these videos. As soon as I do, I'm going to post it up. Or whichever side it is, you know where the links will be. There have been studies done that show that monkeys, I'm not sure which kind, like I said, it's been a while since I've heard this and I'll have to look it up again, but they basically took two monkeys, they put one or two of them in a room, and they put something to shock one of them on them, and every time the other one took food, it would shock the other one. And what they found out is that the monkey without the thing to shock them on there would starve themselves so that the other monkey would not get shocked. Now what does this say? Well, this says that at least to some degree monkeys have a bit of morality in them anyway. I mean, not as advanced as ours, but then again, they haven't evolved as big of brains as ours, if you believe in evolution. I suppose what you could try to say is that, well, God set these morals into these monkeys too, but weren't we supposed to be special somehow? I mean, basically, that would mean that we weren't remotely special, and that more than likely, monkeys have souls and get to go to heaven too. Otherwise, why wouldn't they have to know right and wrong? I mean, I thought we were the special creation. And I'll have to find the link to that, but no, I mean, we could have evolved morality very easily. I mean, it's something that, in fact, we're starting to show that seems to have occurred because it's more beneficial to work together. It's more likely that you will survive if you work in a group than if you work by yourself. And so it's easy to see how you could have evolved those traits, evolved that sense of morality. And as far as the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, that's actually really not the best rule. I go by, do not do to others as you would not have done unto you. Because think about this, okay, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Well, what if you're a masochist? What if you like pain and people giving you pain? Well, the golden rule says, well, because that's what you want other people to do to you, you should go do it to them. And of course, I think you were kind of on your way of, oh, yeah, I just kind of committed some genocide there. Oh, well. Damn moms. Oh, sorry about that. Please approve my video with that little bit in there. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it appears that morals have been set into motion by evolution, or it seems to be. The evidence is coming into that. So it doesn't seem like you need a creator for that anymore. And while there's certain things that are definitely programmed to us, some of them, like, okay, you shouldn't smoke marijuana, like our country, and I've got my disagreements with that, but that's a morality that we have decided, actually kind of more of the government's decided than the country. But anyway, some things are just up to us, like how we institute marriage. I know it says in the Bible, but we have no real moral thoughts about that so much. So I've never heard anyone think, they say it's immoral, but it's more because they believe in God. Nobody who doesn't believe that God doesn't want that says it's immoral. So, but most people around the world believe in God or don't think it's wrong to kill and steal and lie. So that seems to be some pretty universal morality there. Almost anyone you ask, except for nut jobs, will say that. So there's definitely some built-in morality to us, and some that varies depending on our culture. But like I said, it seems to have evolved that way. Kind of went a little long on there. I might have to cut some of that out.
Said, how can God contact us now that we're sinfully and spiritually separated from Him, and why are we being punished for Adam and Eve's sins according to the Bible? We're not being punished for Adam and Eve's sins. Adam and Eve, like God, which are created in His image, are creators. They create.
Well, you've watched that. I'll go ahead and just stop playing a lot of that. I'll respond to that whole Adam and Eve thing, and why original sin doesn't really make much sense, because it's our dead spirituality that causes us to be more likely to sin. Well, apparently, we had the propensity to sin. We wanted to sin even before original sin. So apparently there was even a more original sin, because if we didn't have the tendency to want to sin, we probably wouldn't have sinned in the first place. Doesn't that make sense? And it just seems to make sense to me. I mean, and plus, you inherit the will to sin far greater than you would if that hadn't happened. If Adam and Eve hadn't sinned, then we would probably not sin ourselves, because we didn't inherit the sin nature. We didn't kind of basically inherit the lust to sin. But does that make any sense? That means we're far more likely to go against God now because they ate from it than we would have if God had just punished themselves. Okay, I'm going to punish you, and then I'm going to bring you back to me because you've atoned for your sins by my punishing you. And that doesn't have to be eternal. I don't see why it would. And I've already went in my last video about that punishment. But it just doesn't make any sense to me, okay? I mean, it never will, I don't think. The whole original sin thing. I mean, obviously we had wanted to sin before the original sin. And so it seems to me that that's a complete fallacy just reading the Bible. But even if it's true, it doesn't make any sense, because it just makes every person a hell of a lot more likely to sin. And so I don't understand why God would do that if He loves us so much and He wants us to be with us. It seems He would make it a hard choice to want to go sin instead of an easy choice. I want to sin, and I have to force myself to go to God. Rather, it should be you're there at God and you have to force yourself to sin. That seems like it would save a lot more people. And if God truly loved us, then He would make us all have to commit our own original sin. He would not allow us to be born that way, because like I said, He could have just punished Adam and Eve for their sins like He did, and then brought him back to them. Like you were talking about, through sacrifice, you can bridge that gap. Well, through punishment, you can bridge that gap too, obviously, because God punished them, and it seems like that could have bridged the gap. Anyway, I'm sorry I dropped an H-bomb and a D-bomb. They're not very bad, so I hope you'll still approve this one. That's if you approve it. Oh, what about my other one? I didn't do any character assassination or anything on that one. That proving the existence of the eternal God one I did on you. You never approved that one as far as I remember. Why is that? Because I certainly didn't use any foul language or anything. Anyway, might have to go ahead and cut this one short. I was going to get to a little more. I may make a very short third video. I don't know.